Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the all-new Mcfarlane Toys King Shark Build-A-Figure wave based on, of course, the Suicide Squad. Now, I recently watched the movie, absolutely loved it. Personally, I've always been more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, and the DC Multiverse figures from Mcfarlane are some of the best, especially where their live-action releases are concerned. And this wave may in fact be my favourite, even topping some of the Justice League figures, especially where that King Shark is concerned. Honestly, that character was just so awesome in the movie. Super likeable, super lovable, and I really hope that we can in fact see more of him in the future. But we'll start off firstly by taking a look here at Bloodsport. Now, this particular character absolutely shocked me when watching him on the big screen. Honestly, he was so much cooler than I could have ever possibly imagined. And here we've got the masked version. Now, Mcfarlane do an unmasked version, although personally I didn't really think the likeness to Idris Elba was all that great, so I have gone for this particular variant. But you can see that in regards to the detail as well as the paintwork, I absolutely love this very skeletal-esque type of design that we've got going on here for the lower jaw. It looks excellent and really did create for an awesome visual on screen. You can see how we've got the blue metallic dome here at the top, and the actual suit is awesome. Now, sadly, this figure only includes 2 blades, which is super unfortunate, as in the movie, Bloodsport is consistently pulling out different blasters, different weapons from this suit, so it would have been great if we could have actually gotten some guns with some of these figures, although as far as I'm aware, Mcfarlane can no longer actually give their DC figures guns due to some sort of licensing agreement. I'm not entirely sure whether or not that's true or not, but you can see here amazing attention to detail in regards to the cast blue. We've got some really awesome metallic orange highlights, and the actual texture to the suit has also turned out really nicely. You can see some of the buckles and braces as we spin around here to the back, just as much detail as the front, albeit not completely painted. But here for the trousers, you can see a really nice looking orange, and the boots look very heavy infantry. Now, taking a look at accessories, as mentioned, he merely does just include a pair of blades. Now, the sculpt work on these looks really nice. You can see painted metallic gold here at the handle, and then of course the metallic silver gunmetal for the actual blade itself, and he can hold them pretty well, but there's no denying that these fingers were designed to actually hold blasters, so I'm not sure whether or not this was the last minute change. Of course, you can just borrow some of your other Mcfarlane weapons and give them to this guy, but it would have been wicked to actually have seen him include that really awesome blaster that he uses in order to try and take down Starro. In regards to this guy's articulation, we do get a ball joint here at the head, which can look up to surprisingly quite a good degree. Of course, it can look down, left to right, rotate left to right. We get butterfly joints here, which is super nice to see. Ratchet joints here out to the sides, full rotation at the bicep, the double joint here at the elbow, full wrist rotation, so this can rotate there as well as hinge up and down. We also do get an ab crunch, surprisingly, despite the actual suit being made out of a fairly hard piece of PVC. We can definitely crunch him forwards to a pretty decent degree, and then of course back, and we can rotate all the way around as well as left to right. The legs can kick forwards that far as well as back to that far, out to the sides, slight rotation. We do get a double joint here at the knee, and then of course we do get a ratchet joint here at the foot, going forwards and backwards as well as rocking side to side, and we do get a toe bend. The articulation across the board for all of these figures besides King Shark is pretty much identical, so I shan't be covering articulation on any of these 3, but it is definitely just as good, if not in some instances better, than Bloodsport throughout the rest of the figures. Taking a look here at Polkadot Man, surprisingly this was the character that I was least excited to actually see on the big screen, but James Gunn really did do something special with this character. He actually turned out to be one of my favourite members of the new Suicide Squad, and this figure here is really well done. Now, sadly, I did order this guy online, and he did not include that polka dot blast effect, which is super unfortunate. Here's hoping I can in fact actually track down another figure in person to actually get that accessory, but you can see that in regards to the detail, I think the face sculpt has turned out really nicely. Now, as far as I'm aware, Mcfarlane have merely just sculpted this, so we are not utilising that 3D printing technology that you see with Marvel Legends figures, and I think for that, it has turned out really well done. Definitely very faithful likeness to the actor, and of course we can put the goggles down much like we saw in the movie to create for a pretty awesome look. You can of course see all of these different polka dots scattered all the way throughout the suit, and for the most part, considering how small some of them are, I think the paint applications have been applied really nicely. We've got the gauntlets here which he used in order to almost suppress the polka dots in the movie, and I think the attention to detail on these looks really nice. You can see the sculpt work as well as the skin texture detail here for the hand looks very impressive. Of course, the belt all picked out in a really nice looking silver, and then as we just turn our attention down to the lower section, every single polka dot on this guy has been fully painted as well as sculpted onto the suit, which looks really cool. And you can see here for the boots, we've got the laces as well as a really nice almost dusty type of paint used in order to match his appearance from the movie. So overall, a very awesome looking figure in order to accompany a very impressive character from the movie. Now we'll turn our attention here to John Cena's character, that being Peacemaker. Now this guy, if you've seen the film, is very interesting. I shan't go into spoilers in this review, but this character definitely had a lot more layers than I was personally expecting, and you can see that much like the Bloodsport, I have opted to go here with a masked version, just as I didn't think the unmasked version looked a heck of a lot like John Cena, but here I can definitely see his likeness, in particular where the chin is concerned, as well as the sculpture here for his actual jawline. But you can see here the helmet looks pretty cool. It would have been wicked if they could have found a way to have actually chromed this section out, as in the movie it was incredibly reflective. Here they've gone for a slightly more matte finish, which doesn't look too bad, but it's definitely not something that I would have gone with. You can see we've got some nice sculpt work going on here for the front of it, and as we actually take a look here to the costume, this looks incredible. So you can see we've got his insignia there slap bang in the center. The texture detail for the actual red section I think looks awesome. You can see all of the paint has come out super nice. We've got the biceps there of John Cena as we spin around here to the back. You can see that he is very defined in certain areas, and then as we just turn our attention down to the lower section, you can see here for the pants or the trousers, these two have also turned out really nice, with some very impressive sculpt work going on for the boots. Now, much like Bloodsport, this guy sadly doesn't come with any of his firearms like we saw in the movie. We merely do just get this sword, but this looks really nice. You can see very impressive looking sculpt work, and as mentioned beforehand, I'm almost certain you could find some guns from some of your other Mcfarlane figures, such as the Fortnite range, and actually give them to these figures. But definitely looking really cool. One of the most impressive Mcfarlane figures I've personally seen. And then we turn to my favourite two, of course, Harley Quinn and King Shark. So we'll take a look here at Harley Quinn herself. I actually think this is one of the best likenesses ever for a Mcfarlane figure. This really does look like Margot Robbie, in particular here from this angle. This looks so well done. The attention to detail here for the face I think looks wicked, especially for this actual hair sculpt. You can see how we've got the red and the black section. The paintwork has all come out super nice with the blonde here at the top. As we spin around here to the back, we've got some of those Joker tattoos that we saw from the first Suicide Squad movie carried over here to this particular incarnation of the character. And as we take a look here towards the front, you can once again see some really nice looking tattoos here at the top. The actual dress I think is really cool. Whilst not my preferred look for the character personally, I love her look from the first act of the movie. It still looks really faithful to what we actually saw from the film, so I can't critique it for that. You can see in regards to the tattoo detailing here for the forearm, that looks really nice. The attention to detail here for the dress too looks wicked. As we turn our attention to the thigh, you can see some really nice looking sculpt work going on, as well as once again here for the boots. Now, unlike some of the other figures, her articulation is a little compromised just due to the nature of the design, so you don't really get a great ab crunch here for Harley, but that's to be expected, and honestly, you can get her in pretty much every other pose. It is just a shame that this section wasn't a separate component, so that you really could have perhaps manipulated this upper section, but as an actual standalone figure, I think she looks really impressive, definitely holds her own amongst the other Suicide Squad members, and she does come with the staff that we see her use in the movie. Once again, I shan't go into spoilers, but this looks really cool. You can see some nice sculpt and pattern detailing going on for this, and it's been completely cast out of a gold plastic. But then we turn to what is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, Build-A-Figure of all time. Here we've got King Shark, based on the Suicide Squad. Now, I don't think anyone could have expected how lovable this particular character would turn out to be, and honestly, he was just such a joy to actually watch on screen. This guy is awesome, and Sylvester Stallone really helped to bring him alive with his voice acting. Now, in regards to this guy's mass, he's a very big figure. I actually think one of the biggest Build-A-Figures that Mcfarlane have ever produced, and considering these figures retail individually for roughly the same price as Marvel Legends, and bear in mind Marvel Legends are in the 6-inch scale, whereas Mcfarlane DC Multiverse are in the 7-inch scale, and you get Build-A-Figures that are this big. Honestly, if you want bang for your buck, the DC Multiverse line is definitely one that I would recommend, as I think they create for some of the best figures on the market, and King Shark here is one of those prime examples. This guy looks incredible and is actually a really hefty and very weighty piece. As we bring him in here for a closer look, you can see the attention to detail going on for the actual head sculpt is mesmerizing, and I really love the fade of paint that they've applied here over the top. You can see some fantastic sculpt work going on here for the nose section of King Shark. Of course, those lovable eyes here on the side, all sculpted and picked out really nicely, and the attention to detail here to the tongue as well as to the teeth, honestly, is so well done. Barely any paint bleeds, which is something that you don't really see from now mass-produced action figures. Now, the jaw can indeed open and close, which really does drastically alter the appearance of this guy, which is super cool, and of course you can slightly open it to evoke some of those other scenes that we see in the movie. Nom nom, no dumb friends. Me so smart. Honestly, such a cool character. As we turn our attention here to the arms, you can see very thick biceps, very thick forearms, and of course we've got those webbed fingers, which look really cool. We've got the pot belly there, which I actually think looks really awesome. Very nice looking paint as well as sculpt work. And the pants, whilst they do slightly restrict the articulation, I actually think these look really well done. Very impressive paint work as well as sculpt work going on for these. And then as we turn our attention down to the feet, you can see here once again incredible sculpt work. And of course we've got the gills here on the side as well as the actual shark fin here at the top. So really a very impressive figure. I'm so glad to actually have an action figure of this character in my collection, and the articulation surprisingly isn't that bad either. So we do get an opening and closing jaw, which is really nice to see. The head is on a ball joint, so it can look left to right as well as up and down, although I would recommend taking care, as you can in fact actually scrape some of the paint here on where I presume the neck would be. We do get a rotation here at the shoulder as well as a hinge joint out to the side, rotation at where the elbow is as well as a 90-degree bend. We do get a rotation here at the hand, hinge joint going forwards and backwards on a ratchet joint. We do get an ab crunch, so this can crunch forwards as well as back. It can of course rotate left to right, and we also actually do get a waist rotation, which is super cool for this guy. Now, considering the pants have been made out of a slightly harder PVC, you can't really bring the legs forwards that much, but in the movie he wasn't the most dynamic character, so honestly I don't really have much of a critique with that at all. As we spin around here to the back, he does have knee joints, but once again they are slightly restricted, and here for the foot these can pivot forwards and backwards, rock side to side, and the toe can also bend forwards and backwards. So overall, King Shark is definitely a fantastic looking figure. They've knocked it out of the park here with Nanaue, and for those of you who are not all that impressed with his articulation, just as an actual standalone display piece, this guy looks incredible. And so some final thoughts for the Mcfarlane Toys King Shark Build-A-Figure wave, based on of course the Suicide Squad movie. Honestly, I think each and every one of these figures are fantastic. Mcfarlane Toys truly are knocking it out of the park in regards to their DC Multiverse figures, in particular their live action figures. I thought the Justice League honestly was some of the best 7-inch scale figures that I've picked up at mass retail, and these guys are no exception, especially that Polkadot Man, the Bloodsport, the Harley Quinn, the King Shark, pretty much the entire way. The only one which I believe is slightly lackluster would be Peacemaker, and that's merely down to the simple fact that they haven't actually chromed out the helmet, but that probably would have been asking way too much from a mass-produced figure. I think each and every one of them has got fantastic detail, very authentic to their costumes as well as the likeness from the movie, and that King Shark Build-A-Figure honestly is just super cool. A really big and chunky release, pretty decent articulation considering the nature of the design, and the attention to detail, especially where his head is concerned, is wicked. I definitely can recommend this wave, and I would love to know down in the comment section below on what you guys thought of these figures as well as the review, and also be sure to let me know on what you thought of the 2021 version of the Suicide Squad. I really would love to know your thoughts on the movie as well as these figures, and once again I want to say a massive thank you to all of you for actually checking this review out. I thank you all for watching, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.